massive cover-up.
Checking up on us.
A town full of cops caught in a massive cover-up.
Checking up.
A town full of cops caught in a massive cover-up.
Checking up.
A town full of cops caught in a massive cover-up. A town full of cops caught in a massive cover-up.
Checking up on us.
Is about to butt heads with a local hero.
If I give the sheriff a cop land.
For once, everybody in this town's gonna tell the truth.
Out to prove that nobody is above the law.
Everybody in this town's gonna tell the truth.
Out to prove that nobody is above
Canvas work, great, Richard.
This is your questionnaire. Here, we'll just pass them down each side. You need
Can I videotape myself given my little speech here? Great.
Videotape us or videotape?
Oh, your face mic in briefly, or if you have something to say. Never know, that might be picked up by the microphone. But it's mainly for my own purposes.
What we're going to do is go around the table and introduce ourselves. We ask you to make a brief opening statement, about 2 minutes.
Okay.
We have a couple of set questions we ask every candidate, and then we open it up for some quick questions depending on how much time we have around the table, kind of thing. And Richard brought his questionnaire. He didn't just file yesterday, and as I mentioned before, he came in at the beginning of the meeting here that he had contacted me some time back, and then he decided to file, so we've got the questionnaire here today. I'm sorry I didn't get it to you beforehand. And I'm Daniel Norton. I'm chair of the King County Democrats.
Connie Herringbone in 37th District.
Ken Catholic, second vice.
Paul Mowich, 30th District. Javier Valdez.
So, of course, obviously the Democrats tend to be pro-union, although never had the privilege myself. I heard you having a conversation there with Sherry Harris about living wage jobs. I'm all for that. Living wage jobs, never had one of those either. I'm sort of sub-living wage. Join a union, is that what the suggestion was? Yeah, I guess you're right. Never been in an electoral thing outside of school. Never had a party
About
office.
yourself rather than going.
Sure, that's fine. Well, I did provide a little sketch. I dashed out to Kinko's. I kind of remember that Julian suggested I provide just a brief sketch, which just kind of mentions the fact of my career as a journalist. And it's, an 8 a week has, left me in conflict with the local leading Democratic politicians, which led me to believe that appearing here today might be of some limited value. But I might as well be explicit about that because obviously if some of you have television sets, you're probably aware of this, or if like me you're paying $31 a month for basic cable, you'd be aware of it, if you've seen my broadcasts. But, I was talking to Julius just yesterday for the first time I met him, and he had a clear memory of, my broadcast on Mike Lowry, which was just covering Lowry doing a town meeting at Tacoma Community College. And, as I recall, I was one of the few people that publicly strongly editorialized on behalf of Mike Lowry when people like, should we name names here, the current assistant to the King County executive, who was then political editor for the Seattle Weekly, was going at Lowry like, actually I think the direct correlation I drew was like a cast of characters out of the old Untouchables TV series, I mean, one mere accusation of hanky-panky on Lowry's part, and some of the local, presumably left-leaning journalists were all over him like a pack of Chicago gangsters, I definitely have strongly warm feelings about the Democratic Party in theory, if not in practice. That is, in the practice of some of our leading Democrats here locally. So you can consider me the first of a new, or maybe just a member of a new and different breed of Democrat, possibly. I should point out that I don't have that much serious competition in this race, as far as I can tell. I mean, there's the incumbent, an incumbent who was appointed, not elected, McIver. So I think it's quite realistic to assume that with my name recognition from being on television weekly for 4.5 years, that it might come down to me versus the unelected incumbent.
Ended with a suicide, but the mystery behind his motive lingers. This week we turn our focus to examine the life of Andrew Cunanan on Biography This Week. Next on A&E. Visit A&E online. For August 2nd, 1997, Biography This Week with Karen Stone.
This week, authorities are piecing together the details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan. The details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan. Details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan. Details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan. Details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan. Together the details of the violent life of spree killer Andrew Cunanan.
Okay, hold on. How did he get shot there? I don't know. He's walking in front of his home. That's Johnny Versace.
The tape of Versace's chef frantically calling 911 moments after the fashion designer was fatally shot documents the harrowing murder scene.
That's Johnny Versace. He was entering his house. We just heard gunshots were going outside. He's on the steps of the house. He's not moving. He's not moving.
Meanwhile, with Versace's suspected killer now dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, other celebrities began coming forward to say they may have also been targeted by the murderer. In this week's issue of Time magazine, Sylvester Stallone says the FBI notified him that both he and Madonna may have been on Cunanan's hit list.
Andrew was wondering where he was going to place in the Serial Killer Hall of Fame.
When he was a teenager, his parents moved again to Rancho Bernardo. The Cunanans had climbed one more rung up the economic ladder. But friends remember the Rancho Bernardo house for other reasons.
It was basically, by and large, dirt out in the backyard. And Andrew used to point through vertical blinds at the back of his house to the backyard and tell me about his father doing target practice for the Filipino mafia. And I would just laugh him off.
Modesto and Marianne managed to send their youngest son to one of the most exclusive private schools, the Bishop's School in La Jolla. The tuition, $9,000 a year. This 18-year-old, the most likely to be remembered. Certainly they would not forget his yearbook page. While his classmates filled the pages with their accomplishments, Andrew's entry was nearly empty. Others listed their hometowns, not Andrew. He seemed intent on covering up what he did and where he came from. Instead, there was just a quote from the 18th century in the court of Louis XV. Après moi, le déluge. After me, the storm. It would take nearly a decade for his classmates and the world to fully grasp how devastating that storm would be.
They make their living by murder. They're mob hitmen. This is their handiwork.
All we did was just hunt people to kill them.
No questions asked.
Hey, orders are orders.
For the hitman, the mob takes precedence over everything.
People in La Cosa Nostra understand that if a person needs to be murdered, he gets murdered, and that's business.
But the hitman often lives at the very edge of death himself.
If you screw up, you're going to get whacked.
And every mob hitman carries secrets that are priceless to the government. Secrets that can do in even the most ruthless mafia don.
He says, "You're gone." And that's when I decided to turn.
He told Ron he doesn't do blue. What's that?
Secrets that can do in even the most ruthless mafia don.
He says, "You're gone." And that's when I decided to turn.
He told Ron he doesn't do blue. What's that? Sorry about that. Like the framing stuff.
What is that?
Oh, I don't know. Well, you gotta, otherwise it's just words. You don't have to.
He's just taking care of it. Is that what he's done?
There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, do you guys pick out your album covers or somebody else does?
Usually, well, for this one we actually did. We had the people at Capitol, their art department work on it.
So Dave, it's been 3 years now since the unfortunate event.
I remember.
Right. You remember.
What's your name?
Richard Lee.
Oh, you're the guy that should probably leave before someone asks you to leave.
Oh, well, I'm used to that, you know.
I'm sure you are.
But the thing that I'm curious about is, why is it that you believe this suicide scenario business after all? Hey, honey, don't touch my equipment.
Richard, don't call me honey. Leave him alone.
You know what, Richard? Here's the deal.
You know what? We'll walk away. All these people are going to be really unhappy if you make him leave.
Yeah.
They really
It's
are.
easy to get a bunch of teenagers to talk about kicking someone's ass, Dave, but let's talk about blood.
He's not trying to.
Richard, please don't pull on my jacket. If you rip it, I'll have to sue you.
Why don't you spend a little bit of time studying wound ballistics, Dave?
Why don't you leave him alone, guy?
And by the way, Dave,
Give him a little bit of privacy.
how is it that you came to be the vice president and treasurer of something called Nirvana Incorporated?
Richard.
You know, you express disinterest in the fact of the corporation, and yet you're on its board. You are the vice president and treasurer.
Because he kicks ass.
So what is the explanation, Dave, as to how it is that Kurt could have died, leaving no blood at the scene of the crime?
Thank you, Dave. We love you.
Hey, Dave, come on. Kick ass, Dave!
Shotgun dumped in the garbage. 12 gauge. Specks of blood on the stock and barrel.
He takes chances, but everything's considered. As if scripted, planned. What to leave, what to take, what he wants us to see, what he wants others to see. He's leaving a record of the events. Videos, 911 calls, witnesses.
And good evening and welcome to the program. And you might subtitle this one Secret Messages on the Kurt program, or as one bootleg, kind of a favorite, called Alcesticide 3 has it in what is a pretty humorous treatment of a couple of lines from a Cobain song. Just one more special message to go, then I'm done and I can go home. And that is pretty funny because, well, the history of rock music at its most interesting field of endeavor, which is in a lot of ways rarely interesting, has to do with this secret message business. And Cobain was as good as anyone at it, clearly. Although in his realm, there's certainly many other people associated with the Nirvana phenomenon that also are practitioners of the secret message school of songwriting, the secret message of pop culture product production. And that's part of what we're addressing here this evening briefly, which is, as you saw, we have been featuring this Millennium television program upon occasion when it appears that they're doing something that may in fact be directly referential to our project here. And we've made this assertion about a number of detective series that they may in fact be aware of our project and be commenting on it through hidden clues in the material. And I know that does sound far out, although, there have been some, obviously, as we've mentioned, direct correlations between names, etc. And when you get into those programs on Fox, this and that other one you know the name of, they are actually producing that show only 100 miles to the north. And as you know, in the text of what we're doing here, we have asserted more or less that the program, the X-Files, and this new one, Millennium, are borrowing some of the motifs of Cobain Was Murdered for their program. Now, I know that's a matter of interpretation. It's not absolutely guaranteed to be the case. It's always subject to dispute unless they were willing to confirm it, which I guarantee you they would not. But for instance, in X-Files, there is one direct reference, which is someone is, Scully, in fact, is looking at a paper, a newspaper, a tabloid called The Comet, and she flips over a page, and there is actually a picture of the Wicked Wid clutching a teddy bear with some character labeling himself Evil Dildo. You're aware of that famous photo if you've been following our story. And so that's a direct reference. And, the program does have numerous references which are almost as direct. And this new one that they're doing, I don't know that that's a reference to Blood Cross, but as we've featured in the program in the last couple of weeks, the painting on the back of the Foo Fighters' first album is called Blood Cross. And they tried to put it across to me, the art department that works for Dave, that had been displayed at the Henry Art Gallery prior to Kurt's death. In fact, I've checked that out, and it showed in the months directly following Kurt's death. So the idea that it may be directly referential in as much as it seems to depict 9/00 buckshot holes, blood red, in the back of something round and chalky white like a skull is apparently the case. Also from the Dave Art Department, so I would assert, either that or someone setting up the Dave Art Department to take the fall, as we've explained previously, would be this little item, which features caricatures of our leading political figures, and then in the signature spot, you've got Mr. G here, the return address on this death threat letter, which claims that someone is going to beat me to death or break my hands, as you can see. In the signature spot, Dave's picture, Dave Grohl's picture, and also the return address was labeled in type Mr. G. So we've dealt with this material before, but it fits in with the theme of secret messages. Another secret message that's bothered me for a long time that we've never discussed directly is something that shows up on one of Dave Grohl's demo tapes. And this was done at a time, November 90, when, according to the more or less authorized Nirvana book, in November of 90, Dave Grohl claims that Chris suddenly said, quote, "Wait a minute, I gotta tell you something, Kurt's been doing heroin." "What?" said Dave, shocked. "How did you find out?" "He told me," Chris said. "Don't tell him that I told you." And, I'm not putting this off, this drug usage business as anything other than myth, but we will say that, in fact, the myth does count for something. And then in the following month, December of 90, Grohl produced this item, which we're going to air the tape for you now. So anyway, in case some of you are familiar with the song, it's called Marigold. 6 colored pictures all in a row. Of Marigold goes the song. Other lyrics are, he's there 'cause I want it all. She's there 'cause I want it all. He's scared 'cause I want it all. I want it all, I want it all, blah, blah, blah. And it seems to be a commentary on the soap opera aspect of the band, and Marigold, how obvious could the symbolism in that be? In any case, we're fresh out of time, so we didn't get the chance to explicate that as fully as we would like to have. But in any case, in case you're not up on the news of the day, we are running for city council and have something of a chance of winning, so September 16th, vote for us. And tune in here for further details. We'll provide those to you shortly. And again, thanks for joining us.